Welcome to PSWF Adrenaline. I am one of your co-hosts, Jeremy Culver, aka Darsay, and with me is Kyle, the glorious Gloria, and my buddy Calwu, right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Kyle and Calwu, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I am fantastic. As Calwu stated, can't complain. I mean, I am ready for the night. I'm ready for all the action, the adrenaline, and just the impact that this show will bring to our future pay-per-view.
We do have an announcement, of course, with that pay-per-view, and that is that the pay-per-view will actually be our last show for a little bit of time. We're going to go on a small hiatus with me moving here in the upcoming weeks. So we have the best, I think, go-home show to get things started for that pay-per-view in Calwu. Tell me about how you feel the fact that we're doing a three-man showcase right here for this go-home show.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it. You know what I'm saying? First, I got a chance to, do a couple weeks with you, Gar, and now I get a chance to do it with you and Kyle, the glorious Gloria, all at the same time. So this is about to be a fun show, and I just can't wait to get it going.
All right, well, I'm going to have you start with breaking down our first matchup because we have quite the interesting one to start the show off.
All right, so our first match is Ngoku versus Darsay with their tag team partners as their manager. The reason why this match is so important is we've seen Darsay rack up wins within these last few weeks. We've seen Kyle the Glorious Gloria in the same night rack up a win. And them going against their longtime tag team rival of Ngoku in the 25th BAM. So this match right here is a statement of who's going to have a leg up and who's the stronger tag team here, even though it's singles competition.
Exactly. And Kyle, let's just talk a little bit about the last time these guys faced. Anime Ted came out with a victory because Kyle the Glorious Gloria did not come in to break up a pin. Do you think that that's going to be changed, of course, now with it being a singles competition heading into this matchup?
That, as you said, that was a very interesting situation. Not sure what happened there, but yeah, I mean, this is, as Calwu stated, a huge matchup here. Going back at each other, and as you said, a big win though for Anime Ted there versus the Smack Talker. So we're gonna have to see if these other two may get involved in this matchup, or if they will let the other two just have a one-on-one clean fight and settle it here.
And that will be, of course, the biggest question because both these teams want to go at it. And the Smack Talkers aren't afraid to do what it takes to try to get that victory. But here we go. Things are getting started. And, of course, the ones coming to the ring first is Anime Ted with Ngoku, of course, taking center stage. And the 25th BAM sitting outside to support Ngoku. So let's talk about this tag team. Obviously, they have had some big wins, some big losses. Kind of depends on, of course, week-to-week basis with them. They haven't found straight consistency. However, 25th BAM had a really good match against Kyle. However, Kyle came out victorious. Now Ngoku is facing the other partner, of course, in Darsay and Calwu. How do you think that changes, I guess, the dynamics, the fact that the 25th BAM already lost to the tag team partner?
Honestly, I feel like the Smack Talkers have the advantage here, seeing as Kyle the Glorious Gloria actually beat both of them in singles competition. And now I'm pretty sure he's prepped his partner to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, and that is the exact thing to talk about because in the OMG qualifiers, Kyle, in a very, very fun matchup, was able to come out on top over Ngoku. But, of course, there are the Smack Talkers still looking for their first win as a tag team. However, as Calwu and Kyle, you alluded to earlier, both of them have gotten a number of victories in singles competition in recent weeks. So, Kyle, how much do you think that gives them momentum heading into this singles competition?
Yeah, you said it's all about momentum, especially in the PSWF and wrestling as a whole. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Kyle was able to feed into Darsay to say, hey, listen, here's what we need to do. Here's what you need to do in this matchup to try to continue momentum and gain momentum back and get this huge victory and move on forward. I mean, as you said before, singles-wise, both these competitors have been fantastic. It's just a matter of seeing them gel as a tag still.
And we are looking forward to that. But, of course, the bell has rung, and we're getting things started. And Darsay going for some strikes, not able to get it at first, but finally gets something going with a big neck breaker there. And, of course, goes instantly into taunting with the crowd. But that could be disastrous. Oh, and it looks like it is with Goku able to get something going. Oh, with a big strike to the back of the head. That's something you don't want to see early on, Calwu.
Most definitely not. I thought he was gonna hit him with an electric chair drop, and he dropped him and faked us all out and was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna give him an elbow drop. Ooh. And off the ropes.
What a big kick off of the ropes. And now really looks like, oh, with the big the headlock behind this. Oh, this could be disastrous. But Darsay able to get out, and Kyle, that is something that Darsay has to be careful of early on in this fight.
Oh, he does, and as you see here, though, he's taking back, going high risk, high reward, as Darsay always does. We'll just have to see if he lands it.
When he does not land, it goes right onto the knees. That is, of course, the one thing that Darsay does week in, week out, is he tries to put on the high-profile show, but sometimes he just does not connect. And this could be, of course, the thing that turns things around. We've seen it happen before, and Goku goes for the pin, but gets only one count on that one. And what an early start with Goku having a lot of dominance since that taunt.
Yeah, most definitely. But one of the things, though, that is okay with Darsay doing that early, he got it out of his system. Because Darsay normally waits until later on in the match and does that, and then it screws him up. But Darsay did that early on. He has plenty of time to bounce back from that.
Yeah, but he doesn't have time to bounce back if he continues to just get damage laid down. Like, Goku has had complete control over this. And Kyle, what are you seeing aside of Goku out of this fight that we haven't seen in recent weeks?
Honestly, just a consistent match so far. Usually Goku likes to either start out slow, get beat down, or the few matches that he finally did take over a little bit at the start, he then slowed down majorly. But so far in this matchup, he has stayed consistent. But again, I have faith in Darsay. I have faith in the Smack Talkers. I can see Darsay coming back here.
Oh, and he's got the headlock locked in again after dealing so much damage to the head, and he's close to the ropes, but it doesn't look like he's able to reach it. The ref continues to check in. Oh, but able to get out, get the big knees to the back of the head, and Darsay needs something to go right now, and there, with that fist strike, could be the little momentum he needs with a nice little neck breaker right after that.
Yeah, now he's wrenching the neck of Goku, trying to deal back that head damage that he took himself, and it looks like he's going back to the well again. Let's see if this pays off for him.
Oh, and that time he connects, and he goes right into the pin. They close to call.
I thought that was it.
And Darsay thought it was it too, and he looked at the ref saying, "Ref, why was that not a 3?" Oh, and he sizes him up. What was that?
We never seen that before.
Oh, and it's a 2 count again. I
thought that was it.
I did too, for sure. Because it was like he sized him up for it.
That was something that we have not seen Darsay do at all. And I think I'm going to agree with both you guys. I thought that was over right there too, but he turns it now into a good neck bend. They're trying to dig that knee into the lower back, hoping he can get a tap out there, but not able to, so he just throws his face against the ground. And Darsay finally getting some things going here for himself. Oh, but not able to connect with that pump handle slam. Oh, and Goku goes for the pin, tries to turn this around, but only gets a 1 count.
I wonder if that was
way more than that.
Yeah. I was wondering if that was Goku reversing it, or Goku just being too heavy for Dar to handle that way.
That's a good question, but Darsay has dropped Another move I have not seen Darsay do. I thought he was going to go with his patented Hurricanrana, but he did not there. And he now trying to size Goku up. As I was saying, though, we've seen Darsay pick Goku up at previous times. Maybe he just underestimated the weight of Goku there in that turnaround, but only get a 2 count off of that.
Another close count there, though. But, you know, I like what Darsay's doing. Again, I like the Smack Talkers. I really enjoy this team. I enjoy what they bring to the PSWF. All the talking they have done. Because they're right about a lot of things. And especially about these tag team divisions. I mean, things that they've stated, I've got to say, I agree.
Oh, is he about to do it? My goodness.
Is he gonna do it?
Is he gonna land it? If he lands this match is over.
Well,
if he lands this,
he sizes it up, he drops, and he does! He connects!
He connects. This match is over.
Is this gonna be it? It does just as much damage, if not close to it, as it does his opponents. He goes for the pin, and he comes out with the victory!
I knew it. I told you. If he landed that, this match is over.
Calwu, tell me what you thought about that matchup, because, of course, Goku looked like he had all the momentum there at the beginning, and finally Darsay gets a connection and goes forward with it to the victory.
Yeah, like I said, Goku, like you stated before, Goku normally starts off slow, and he does a slow burn. Start off really fast. Darsay made his mistakes early. As I stated earlier in the match, whenever Darsay does that high flying and gets countered and it's later in the match, that normally spells the end for Darsay. He did it early, he got it out of his system, and then after that, every time he went to the well, it was, he was drinking. He was drinking good, too.
And Kyle, you talked about, of course, how much you liked the Smack Talkers off of during that performance. What did you think of Darsay's ability to turn things around and get things going back in his favor after such a disastrous start to the show?
I loved it. I love that turnaround because, yeah, again, it shows what the Smack Talkers could do, especially in singles competition. I mean, let's be honest here. Yeah, they may not have won in tag teams, but these singles competition matches, they have been fantastic, and they've won them in legit ways, other than, like, some other tag teams we have that like to try things here and there. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. Clean victories all around continuously for the Smack Talkers.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that tag team that you're talking about here a little bit later in the show. But let's break down the rest of our show here, because we have what, again, I think is one of our best go-home shows that we have. And Calwu, let's have you start with this first one.
All right, so we got Mayo, Menace versus Lunt. Two people that in these last few weeks have gone after the title and have lost them. And this is just kind of like a redemption arc for both of them. Who will be considered the hero and who will be considered the villain in this go-round? That's what this match is.
Yeah, and this is one where Lunt has been gone for weeks since his loss to Darsay, so this will be a good opportunity to see what he's learned from that time off. And then, Kyle, let's talk about somebody else who also needed to learn a little bit of things when it comes to this upcoming matchup.
Yeah, you know, B.A.T, came in, just manhandled Iceman in his first showing here to say, hey, listen, I am here to fight. That has fallen short in every other way since then. and has lost every match, is beat down and everything. Here's Matt, kind of a veteran here in the PSWF. Still just trying to get anything going, but it just seems to not be able to figure out the wrestling thing yet. Because, I mean, again, the guy that is good at everything else, tennis, baseball, bowling, you name it, just has not been able to figure out the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah, and of course, he has had some really great showings, but has not been able to get the victory, which is a little bit of a stark contrast to B.A.T, who has had a rough going here at the PSWF. Then we have a really great matchup after that, a triple threat women's match of Hatshepsut, Molly Gloria, and X, which X, of course, has not been seen here at PSWF for a number of weeks now, taking some rest after her defense at the most recent title against Hatshepsut, and now is getting ready to go face Dr. Vertebrae, who just was crowned as the #1 contender. And then we have a great showcase of a potential matchup. Obviously, it'll be in the tag team version, but this time in singles competition. Calwu, tell us about this next one.
So we got Calwu versus Bear Grillz. Calwu was not happy with what happened at that match, the tag match last week. And so he's looking to get revenge for his cousin. While, you know, Bear Grillz got his revenge for Bear Magnum from the previous week with the one-on-one that he had with KT.
Yeah, and of course, Bear Grillz making KT tap, which was a little bit surprising off of what happened there. And then Kyle, to wrap up the show, we have what could be a starlit performance because these two are going to be facing again at our upcoming pay-per-view.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this matchup and the pay-per-view matchup because two of the top competitors so far right now just going back and forth. I mean, the Samurai and Hunter Frost, two fantastic week in and week out performers. I mean, you can never go wrong with either of those two in a match. It always turns out really good.
Yeah, and there's always a highlight that comes out of it, even if it is off the top of the head. But we're going to be going to our next matchup here. Of course, it is Mayo Menace taking on Lunt. And of course, this has been a good showing for both of those throughout the weeks. Mayo doing a number of things, obviously winning our money or bills in the briefcase competition. Lunt, of course, holding the PSWF championship. But in recent weeks, as you did say, Calwu, things have not gone both of these guys' ways. So, Calwu, who needs a victory in this competition more?
I feel like Lunt needs the victory more, especially after losing the title, after he called out Thignotic and he lost the title, and then the following week had a very snarky, snide remark to Darsay, and then lost again. He's the person who needs to win the biggest right now because he literally did 2 call-outs and lost 2 call-outs in a row.
Yeah, and it was, of course, a rough one that a lot of us didn't expect because that was Darsay's first win was against Lunt. Of course, the former PSWF champion. But Kyle, here's the man that you have been so head over heels for weeks, and then, of course, he dropped the ball when it came to the cash-in. So, Kyle, how has your vision around Mayo Menace changed over these weeks?
You know, honestly, it hasn't changed a whole lot other than the fact of, you know what, maybe finish a match a little bit sooner than expected. Don't play with your food. We get people like mayonnaise, but you don't always need the extra mayo. So, you know, just finish it off. And you know what? Lunt has done this to himself. So, to me, Mayo is the one that needs this win more than anything. I mean, again, had the opportunity there, just didn't need that extra mayo. And he has proven any other time, though, that he is the guy.
Well, now, of course, is the time that Mayo has to prove he is the guy because we are talking about Lunt. Regardless of his 2 recent losses, this is a former PSWF champion for a reason. So, Calwu, what does Lunt need to do to make sure he comes out victorious in this matchup?
Use that speed and quickness in his striking. We all know that Lunt is one of the premier strikers in the PSWF. Just stick to striking and stay out of Mayo Menace's grab, because once Mayo Menace grab him, it could be it could be a long night.
And it will be if he does let Mayo Menace have his way. But of course, things are getting underway. Mayo Menace and Lunt looking for both to get a victory, to get the momentum going back onto their side as they head into the pay-per-view. And Lunt goes for the grab and just gets shoved away and decides, hey, I'm going to do what I do best with the strikes. But Mayo Menace showing again his strength, has an advantage here in this competition. Oh, but Lunt with the good reversal and a good neck breaker after that.
Yeah, Lunt. We seen week to week Lunt use the rope more, springboarding off the rope and then executing moves, and he's been using that to his advantage quite often. So Mayo's gonna definitely have to worry about that and avoid that if he wants to win this match.
Kyle, what do you think about this showing so far? Obviously, Lunt really putting in some work on the Mayo Menace.
I think, honestly, yeah, Lunt is starting out really well, but can he keep it going? Because let's be honest, once Mayo gets back up and gets going, as Calwu stated, using all that weight like this, he is going to take over.
Yeah, and it looks like he finally is taking over a little bit and just, oh, he went for the well again, but was not able to connect. Lunt using his quickness to get out of the way and now goes back to the strikes, and this is what Lunt does best. He's got to make sure that he continues to utilize these strikes to try and just chop down Mayo in those thick thighs, because of course, when you get a little bit of Mayo, it's going to be a little messy. So, of course, Lunt with a good neck breaker there, making sure, of course, he continues to have that advantage. And this is something that, of course, these two combatants have had week in, week out, is that both of them can come back and turn a victory into their favor very quickly. Right, Calwu?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We've seen Mayo do it a few times. We've seen Lunt do it a few times. So, this could be anybody's match. But as of right now, Lunt has all the momentum. He has all the momentum.
Lunt doing a really good job reversing all the moves that Mayo is trying to throw out. And again, using the kicks. And there's the Lunt kicks coming out. Just kicking him hard. And oh, with a good kick to the side of the head, he rolls him over. Goes for the pin. Is this going to put Mayo Menace away? We get a 2 count. No. Kicks out at 2.
Yeah, he tried too quickly to pin him. Mayo is not a jobber. You're not going to pin him that quickly. Oof. Then the close shave.
It's the close shave. Is that it? Will Lunt return with a victory? Yes, he does.
Wow. That was still very quick. Wow. I am flabbergasted. I didn't think... Right after I talked about not ending him quickly, he hit him with the close shave and said, hey, I hear you guys talking, and I'm going to end him right here, right now.
Oh, and the two are looking to stand off in the ring. Mayo Menace sticking out his hand. And we got a little handshake going on inside the ring. Mayo doesn't seem too happy about, of course, what transpired, but gave a little bit of respect to Lunt off of this. And what a good victory for Lunt. Again, took a number of weeks off and is now back with a victory. And of course, Calwu, you said he needed this. So how much do you think this helps him, of course, as we head into the pay-per-view, knowing that this is going to be the last fight for a little bit of time?
I feel like it helps him a lot. Because like we said, when you compound wins, that give you the momentum. After coming off of 2 L's that he literally called out his opponent in both of them, and then he lose twice, once after saying, hey, if whoever wins this, the other person can't challenge for the belt until, it's lost by one, lost by whoever the winner is. Then he comes out mad and he's like, yeah, at least I got to win. Darsay ain't got none. You know what I'm saying? And that disrespect, and then he lose after being that disrespectful. He super needed this win. And if he would have lost, that would have put him literally at the bottom of the PSWF. And that would have put him down there with B.A.T at this point.
And Kyle, let's just go on the flip side of it. Mayo Menace not able to cash in, loses to Thicknotic right after it, and now to Lunt. 2 former PSWF champions, but still, those are 3 mistakes in a row. Where do you feel like Mayo Menace is currently sitting in the PSWF locker room?
Head kind of down now at the moment. I mean, but you got to take this and move on from it and just learn from it, continue to move forward. And I believe Mayo can do this. And let's be honest, that handshake in the end, I'm not a big fan of that. And you could tell Mayo wasn't too happy. But to me, I'm curious if that's Mayo not really saying, hey, good match, but more of a grippier handshake saying, you're welcome. I'm the reason you actually get an opportunity again.
That could very well be the case. We'll, of course, find out here in upcoming weeks. But somebody else that has, of course, their head hanging in the locker room has to be B.A.T. after what was probably one of the biggest and most impactful displays and showcases by B.A.T. debuting here at PSWF. Has not found that footing from then on. And, of course, Matt having, of course, a number of great showings, but just can't put it together yet to get a victory. And those two are facing it off here. So someone will leave with their first victory in Calwu. I'm going to ask you similar question I asked last time. Who needs it more here in PSWF?
B.A.T. needs it more. Like, B.A.T. has taken so many L's during important moments, especially after, like you said, that great impactful showing that he had and that dominance he showed. And then after that, once it became official matches, he just losing week in and week out and week in and week out. Like B.A.T. needs this for his confidence, because if not, he might be retiring early.
Yeah, and that could very well be the case. Kyle, how about you? Who do you feel needs it more?
You know, I don't always agree to the one down here, but, you know, what we stated, I have to agree. B.A.T does need this with that big showing at the beginning of the pure strength and dominance he put on with that showcase, but not to fall short each week so far. He really needs this match to show that he does belong there. There's a reason he signed with our company. But then again, as you said, though, here is Matt that's been here from the start and has fallen short every time. But impact-wise, B.A.T really needs this.
Yeah, and I will agree with both of you guys. I think B.A.T really needs this because at least Matt can hang his hat on strong performances, just not enough to get the W in his favor. B.A.T, unfortunately, has not had very many strong performances outside of his debut. And that's not something that you can continue to have here at PSWF. So he needs something. Maybe this upcoming hiatus, if he's not able to do it, get a victory, will be what he needs. But right now, of course, his focus has to be on this match. So, Calwu, I know you've talked with B.A.T before. What, I guess, has changed in his mentality, or at least in your conversations with him since his debut to this point?
B.A.T is not happy. He was excited about joining the PSWF, but now B.A.T is furious. And he feels like he deserves a win, and he's been working really, really hard to make sure that, you know, everything starts going on and up and up. And he's going to do it by any means necessary at this point. Losing is no longer an option for him.
And Kyle, I got to ask now, going off of that, do you think that furiousness is what's causing B.A.T to lose so much? He's losing focus inside the matches.
Could be. I mean, because you lose focus and you let the anger and frustration take over you. But I like it personally. I love the ruthless aggression. You know, like, just figure out a way to take that aggression and that beatdown, but finish it off. Because honestly, it's something that's needed here. We need people like Matt here to get beat down like that and show them, like, hey, I need to beat down people like this too. We need to get this going.
And Kyle, I'm going to ask you now to start off this next part of it is, how surprised are you that Matt hasn't been able to figure out it to get a victory yet? Because as we talked about, he is a phenomenal baseball player, a phenomenal archer, a phenomenal boxer, but just has not found the answers inside this wrestling ring.
Starting to think that I believe it's just come to the point that, you know, he just doesn't belong here.
Oh.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
Calwu,
you might be good at everything else, Matt, but you may just not have what it takes to be a part of the PSWF.
Calwu, what do you want to say off that?
Wow, that's pretty harsh. As seeing as Matt has been a menace to everybody in every other type of arena, that he doesn't belong here. I'm not gonna say that he doesn't belong here. This is just a new stage for him. And Matt is going to adapt to this, and he's going to soon dominate this and be a menace to everybody else here soon enough.
Well, we'll see what's going on with him because, of course, this starts. And, oh, B.A.T tried to get things started, and Matt catches the fist and just lays some heavy hands onto B.A.T. Oh, and just showing off the power, just holding him up in the air like this. What strength is on display, and did B.A.T just walk into another tough matchup? We go for the pin. Oh, but he only gets a 1 count.
He for sure walked into another match that's going to be a tough one for him. Like we stated, Matt has dominated every sporting arena we know of. Every single one has been a menace to multiple people. He's made children cry. He's made adults cry. He's made women cry. And he's going to do the same thing here.
Oh, and there is at least the side of that frustrations that you were talking about, Calwu, with the B.A.T in a very interesting arm hold here. I don't think I've seen this side of B.A.T over the weeks, but Matt just getting out of it with his strength. And this, of course, has been, you know, again, something that we hadn't seen from B.A.T before, but oh my god, Matt just showing off the strength again. This guy is just showing off here to this crowd. And Kyle, is this something that you wanted to see out of Matt as he drops B.A.T onto the mat.
I like this side of Matt a little bit. I won't lie. Even though I still agree with what I said earlier, but the showing off a little bit aspect of it, you know what? I kind of dig that part.
Ooh, dropping B.A.T's face off of the turnbuckle. This has been quite the match already to start, and we're fairly early into it, but both competitors getting some good showings here. But Matt, of course, finding the most advantages out of this. Goes for a pin count again, only gets a 1 count. Calwu, how surprised are you to see Matt, I guess, putting on this show that we're seeing here?
I'm not surprised at all, because Matt always gives us good showing. Matt always showboats and show the crowd what they love. You know what I'm saying? He gets the advantage and then he showboats. But ooh, B.A.T with the counters after being picked up. And what's this? And showing his own display of power.
Oh, scratch that. Matt able to get out of it, but he was just too far away to get a strike off of that. And B.A.T is able to find an advantage, dropping Matt's head off of the top of the ropes, and then with a big splash into a pin, goes for it. We get a 1 count. Oh, but Matt too strong and kicks out at 1.
Doing, as you said, pretty good strength there again, but look at this. I mean, I didn't think B.A.T does submissions like this. I like this side of B.A.T.
He's got Matt all leveled up, but there again is the strength that Matt brings, just the elbows to get out of that. And Calwu, of course, we talked about the strength of this. Just where do you see this match going with what you've seen so far?
It's going to be a match of power, but it looks like B.A.T is because we've seen him do a bunch of powerful stuff in every match, but it looks like B.A.T is going to be he's tapped into his ability to be a technical wrestler, and it looks like that's what he's going to do in this match to try and, you know what I'm saying, break Matt down and get the win. So hopefully that works in his favor and he can pull the victory out here.
Oh, and Matt drags B.A.T to the center of the ring, and oh my God, lifts him from a deadlift, flips him around, and then slams it back down onto the mat. What a nasty moves, goes for the pin right off of it, and Matt walks out the winner.
Wow. So much for not belonging.
Put some momentum there. And you see what I did there, right? You see what I just did there.
Kyle pulling off the reverse psychology there to try to send some energy towards Matt's way. And it maybe worked because Matt comes out victorious. What a finisher there again. You said it, Calwu, a showing of strength, and we saw it right there at the very end of that matchup.
Yeah, like I said, Matt has been dominant in many arenas. He's made women, children, and grown men cry. And after B.A.T take this L, he might have made another grown man cry, because B.A.T needed this win more than anybody.
And
boating, everything else. I'll take that from Matt, and I'll take that side of Matt. But listen, B.A.T, go in the back, rethink your contract negotiations that you made with the PSWF, and figure out what you need to do. Because we have some time off now. Rethink your game plan here, and come out fresh. And maybe we'll get a win out of you.
For sure.
Well, Kyle, he has one match still to go, because all of our wrestlers will be wrestling at our upcoming pay-per-view. So B.A.T has one more chance before the hiatus to come out with a victory. So he's got a week to get himself prepared and ready to go. But let's look at our next matchup, because of course this could be potentially one of, if not the best match of the night, because our women's division always puts on a show, and we have 3 of them taking the ring here, a triple threat in Hatshepsut, Molly Gloria, and our longest reigning champion here in X. And Calwu, this has been weeks off for X. She's returning right now to get warmed up for the pay-per-view. So I gotta ask you, is this potentially a trap match for X?
I don't feel like this is a trap match unless they double team her. If they jump her, then yeah, it could be potentially to try and get that off of her. But I don't feel like that, because Hatshepsut and Molly Gloria, they don't really like each other. So I don't see them teaming up to go after X. This is just a little warm up, stretch the legs, stretch the limbs as X prepares for Dr. Vertebrae at the pay-per-view.
And Kyle, of course, we talked about with how this has been weeks off for X. Well, the last match she had was against Hatshepsut for the belt, where X was able to come out victorious in what was a crazy ladder match. So, Kyle, what do you think Hat is feeling when it comes to this? Because Hat was inches away from taking that title and could not do it.
But yet again, failed. X is the superior fighter. I mean, you know, there's definitely going to be some payback on mine with Hat. But listen, it doesn't matter if you fall this short, you know, that you're this close. What matters is when that bell rings and you're the one that's standing tall. I'm sorry, Hat, you fell short. So listen, this is the time you gotta show up. But you know, you also, as you said, you have to deal with Mayo as well in part of this, and same with X. You know, these two competitors that she's against, there's no slouches. Both of them extremely good in the ring.
And that is, of course, the case. All of these women have done phenomenal when it comes to inside the ring. It's not even a understatement. We've had a number of the women's matches be potentials for match of the night. And, of course, now Hatshepsut has been a number of those matchups. But let's, again, go look back at the pay-per-view that just happened, the TLC one. She was one belt buckle away from grabbing that title and was not able to do it. So, Calwu, do you think she is going to be able to put that behind her and stay focused into tonight's matchup?
For sure. Because we've seen her come back after multiple weeks of losing and then come back and then string together a bunch of wins. She doesn't allow what the previous match happened to affect the next week. What she kind of does is she resets. She puts it in the back of her mind like, okay, these are the places where I was weak. Let me improve these, and then every week she does. So I don't feel like that L at the pay-per-view is going to affect what she does in this match.
And now we are seeing our longest reigning champion here in X, the only one who has not lost in singles competition. She has been pinned one time in a tag team matchup with Hatshepsut against Dr. Vertebrae and Molly Gloria. Dr. Vertebrae, who she will fight at the pay-per-view, was the one to pin her, but has not lost in singles competition. At some point, a loss will happen. That's just how it is, right? But Kyle, do you think that could potentially be tonight?
It's so hard to say, but again, we're here in the PSWF where surprises happens on a consistent basis. So, yes, very much so. This is something that could happen. And what will that do for whomever it is that does pin X? I mean, will it be the fine and wonderful, beautiful Molly that's coming out now? Or will it be Hat? I mean, like, what happens here, you know, like, if you're the one to pin her?
Well, we will see, of course, what that could mean, but of course, the only one who has not been able to challenge X for the title has been Molly Gloria, and that, unfortunately, is due to her performances. Unfortunately, she got hurt in our opening matchup and was not able to wrestle for a few weeks. Came back, looked very strong, looked very well, but when it comes to the point to be the #1 contender, has not come out with a victory. And Calwu, what do you think that weighs on Molly's mind as she heads into this triple threat?
That's something, I'm pretty sure that injury is something that's going to be in the back of her mind. But Molly has also done a really good job after coming off of that injury and bouncing back and stringing together a few wins. She has fell short of, you know, being #1 contender, but maybe if she can pull out a win here, this might be that swing she needs to change that.
Yeah, well, X and Hat going right after each other, picking up where they left off from the pay-per-view, and Molly just sitting off to the side, just kind of enjoying things, but X able to grab Molly with a good suplex there, and X making no friends here early in this triple threat.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Like I told you. Oh, they double team Hatshepsut.
They teamed up against Hat. Oh, and Hat tried to taunt off of that, and X got up and said, look, I don't know why you're taunting. I'm the one who beat you. Oh, but Molly with the good back rake there, with a second back rake there. And oh, now Hat comes and tries to stop Molly from getting the damage onto X, and she taunts her for it.
Yeah, this match is going crazy. Hatshepsut is showing that raw power that she, ooh, snaps. Drop the back of her neck onto a knee. Hatshepsut's showing that raw power that she has. And, oh, but X with a good counter. Yeah, Hatshepsut is looking to try and, you know, take this win, regardless.
And that is why X, though, is our champion, because she can turn things around very quickly. And Kyle, where do you feel like these three competitors really need to focus in on so that they aren't the ones to be pinned? Because, you know, there's always that difference with the triple threat. Yes, you want the win, but you don't want to be the one who gets pinned if you are to lose.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key, as you said. You don't want to be the one to be pinned. I kind of like what Molly's been doing in this match a lot. She's kind of been hanging back, hanging loose, you know. Like Hat just did, rolled out the ring there. Oh, but Molly throwing her out right towards where Hat is. So we'll see what goes on here. But again, Molly's kind of staying back, letting these two beat each other down a little bit, just taking the time. But again, you do not want to be the one pinned in this.
Oh, X took exception to being thrown out of the ring by Molly with a good flipping slam there. I still don't know what to call that, but that is still always so important. Well, we have a different X Factor that we have for a little bit later, but that was a good one with a big slam right there. And Molly now wearing out the arms of Hatshepsut over there. What a performance. This is always the one crazy thing with a triple threat. There's always so much action going on. It's hard to keep up with all of it, but of course, the ladies taking some time to taunt towards the crowd and get them into this matchup. And X with some big strikes and now showing off her strength onto Hatshepsut.
Yeah, for sure. But Molly breaks up that pin. Molly is doing everything she can to make sure nobody wins this. Like Kyle said, she's doing a little hanging back, kind of watching everything, and then going in when she needs to.
Tossing X right into that turnbuckle there, now with the big kicks. But here again, X with the counter. I don't know how many times X is able to counter out of moves, but again, this is why she's been the champion for as long as she has been, and the only champion that the women has had.
Yes, she is the only champion who has not dropped their belt, and that is something that is crazy. Of course, I will take that back. In the tag team division, Thomas Dynasty has their titles as well, but of course, they didn't pick those up till Bills in the Briefcase. X picked up her title on week 1, and that is, of course, something that X has been able to carry this entire time, but someone else that's being carried right now is Hatshepsut as she brings X down onto her face.
Oh, she's good. Looks to do that same to Molly. This time on the turnbuckle, though, going for the pin.
Just a showing of strength from Hatshepsut. Calwu, what do you think so far?
Yeah, I don't think Molly's gonna lose to something like being thrown on the turnbuckle. Molly is a lot more resilient than that. The Hatshepsut is literally showing just her raw power and strength like she always do. Is this? Oh!
Oh!
And she drops Molly on her face. Wow.
There goes for the pin, but X right there able to break it up, and now Hatshepsut goes right into a neck breaker onto X and goes for the pin. Will Hat walk out victorious? No, X kicks out at 1.
Oh, wrong time to taunt there, Hat.
And we talked about earlier, we have another move called the X Factor. It's right here. This is the X Factor. Yeah, she's got it locked in. And Molly's trying to break it up. Oh, and she's there to break it up.
Yeah.
Ooh. That could have been disaster if Molly was still down.
Yeah, I love when Molly does that. She does that back flipping and that front flip. That junk is great. Oh,
there it
is. Molly with the victory.
Molly finally pulls out a win. That's a good match.
Wow. Molly quickly takes advantage of all the situation, drops X onto her back, and then goes for the twisted Glorious and drops it and wins off of it and pins the champion.
Fantastic showing. And again, what does this now, you know, like what happens for Molly here? You just pinned the champion in a triple threat. And it wasn't like, okay, Hat did the finisher on X. You did a move on X to finish X off here. Well played by Molly. And we'll have to see if this shoots her up. I mean, yes, Dr. Vert gets that first shot at it. But, I mean, this has to spell something for Molly here in the future.
I think it definitely at least springboards her into conversations coming off of the hiatus because, again, it's not like you said, it's not like she stole the victory from Hat or anything of that nature, or it's not like she pinned Hat to win this match. She pinned the champion using her finisher.
Yeah, exactly. Molly, that was a well-deserved win by Molly. She was playing chess while everybody was playing checkers. You know what I'm saying? She hung back, waited for people to start, you know, beating on each other, stopped pins, stopped the submission, and then once it was her time to shine, she did it.
Well, now where we're going to be looking to our next matchup and see who's ready to shine in this one because we're taking on a singles competition, Bear Grillz versus Calwu. Calwu trying to get a win back for his cousin in their upcoming matchup against Bear Arms at the pay-per-view. But Bear Grillz, of course, coming off of making KT tap in their last tag team matchup. Calwu, what do you see is going to be the difference maker here in this competition?
This is just a grudge. This is one of those regular grudge matches where these two teams have been at each other's throat for a while, and Calwu, being a submission specialist that he is, doesn't appreciate Bear Grillz using submission to you know, make his cousin lose. So that's pretty much where he's going with this. He's going to try and make Bear Grillz tap.
Now, Kyle, you, of course, have had issues with Thomas Dynasty for weeks now with the matchups and the things that they have done to try to get their victory. Last week, KT tried to use a mist into the face of Bear Magnum. The ref did not see it, but was not able to come out victorious off of this. Do you think that there could be some shenanigans like that again in this matchup?
Honestly, with the Thomas Dynasty, I would never be surprised if Calwu or KT does something here to try to edge, you know, whoever their competitors are, because it feels like week in and week out, this team tends to do this constantly, but gets away with it each time. I mean, that green mist, the ref was looking yet again. What the Smackers have been talking about, how things have been unfair here in the PSWF in this tag team division, because they keep getting rid of these shenanigans. No wonder why they're the title holder still. And you know what? I am glad that they, you know, Bear Arms still came out victorious because, like, deserving for that victory.
Well, now, of course, here comes Bear Arms to the ring. Bear Magnum having some good victories over the Thomas Dynasty in various retrospects. Obviously, Bear Grillz hoping that he can continue that here in this matchup. Calwu, what do you think has been the biggest strength to Bear Arms in this tag team as they go into this, not just this singles competition, but their title shot at the upcoming pay-per-view?
I feel like just the momentum of all the victories they've been mounting week in and week out, and with Bear Magnum being just a powerhouse, and then Bear Grillz being like kind of like an overall, where he's not only, he can do power moves, he can do technical submissions, he can strike. So Bear Grillz is kind of like that X factor in their tag team.
And, of course, that is something he's hoping will be the difference maker here in this matchup, being able to bring all those different facets of his game to the technical submission specialist of Calwu. And Kyle, that's where I'm going to have you kind of direct our next question to, is Bear Grillz has made not just KT tap, but in previous competition has made Glorilla tap as well. So we're going up against Calwu, a technical submission specialist of his own right. How much do you think that submission game will be the focal point in this matchup?
It could be a very, very big focal point here, because, I mean, what better way than to make Cap this so-called submission technician in Calwu? If Bear Grillz can make Calwu tap, It would be fantastic, especially for Bear Arms. Think of the momentum that they would have going into this pay-per-view. I mean, Bear Arms, I love what they're doing, and I would love to see nothing more than for Calwu to tap here.
Calwu, I have to
Straight
ask
and
you.
clean.
I have to ask you this because, of course, we're talking about, again, the submission specialist in this. How much does, if Calwu makes Bear Grillz tap, elevate his game? But on the flip side of it, if he were to tap, how much does that hurt his mentality going into that next matchup?
I don't see if he make Bear Grillz tap, then that's just going to be him establishing his dominance as the premier technical submission specialist in the PSWF. Now, if he loses by submission, I don't think that'll affect him as far as like how he approaches his next match. All that's going to do is make him hungry and make him want to tap more. And honestly, he doesn't care. He wouldn't care who would tap between the two as long as he makes somebody tap.
Well, now we have, of course, the two facing off head-to-head. Calwu, of course, looks very serious and locked in. Bear Grillz equal in his own right. And we get the lockup of Calwu. Comes out on top at first, and he busts him open already.
Jesus Christ! I'm telling you, that anger. He's pissed. He doesn't appreciate what he did to his cousin last week. He's pissed.
I would not be surprised if before this match happened that Calwu or KT came to that turnbuckle and put something underneath there. They should check that turnbuckle.
Well, that was a very quick cut open, which is supposed to be a padded turnbuckle, so I am surprised by that, but Calwu taking that dominance into the perspective right here and just really putting in some work onto Bear Grillz. And this could be an early night for Bear Grillz if this is how things continue to go, Calwu.
I agree. I completely agree. Like, nobody expected that to happen out the gate, and Calwu seems to just go ahead and keep focusing on the head of Bear Grillz. Like, every move he's done so far is focused on the head, and maybe he's gonna put him in some type of head or neck submission to try and put him away quickly.
Oh, and now finally Bear Grillz gets something going and throws Calwu across the mat. Again, showing off his strength that he can bring to the table. Oh, Calwu able to block that strike there and gets now working onto the arms of Bear Grillz. Oh, with the leg break there onto the arm. Goes for the pin. We get a 2 count, but only a 2 count as Bear Grillz able to kick out.
Yes. Start working those limbs. I mean, that's anybody. If you're Bear Grillz, Calwu, anybody that's going for these submissions, you work those limbs. Like, look at this. The torque on those shoulders there.
Oh, and rolls it right into a pin. Only able to get a 2 count again. And Bear Magnum even was shaking his arms off of that, saying, oh my God, that looked like it hurt. But Bear Grillz with the good reversal there. And now drops Calwu onto the back in his neck area as well. And now trying to show off that strength that he can bring to the table. Oh, a vicious sit-down slam there.
Yeah,
Calwu looks pretty hurt here.
He is, and the momentum is fully Bear Magnum's right now. Or Bear Grillz, I'm sorry. As Bear Grillz put Calwu in a submission hold.
Oh, man.
Calwu doesn't seem to be tapping.
He has it really locked in, but Calwu able to get out of that. And, of course, that is credit to Calwu able to stay fresh pretty early into this matchup with Bear Grillz taking most of the early damage. Calwu not going to submit just yet and goes into the corner again, slamming his head into the mat, and now just goes with the fist strikes off of that, the slaps to the chest. Oh, and he fakes it with a throat punch off of that.
I will say, when it comes to the submission game here, though, if there is one person that can get out of a lot of submissions, you can count on Calwu. I'm sure Calwu has practiced multiple different submission moves and how to get out of things.
What kind of submission was that? That is something I have not seen for quite a while, and that was very interesting. It is, I guess, goes to credit for Calwu being called the technical submission specialist here in the PSWF. But Bear Grillz with the good reversal there. And now, oh, just with a good side suplex there. And now just really going back to what works most for him.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh.
On the turnbuckle, Jesus. As he goes back to that submission hold again. He's looking to try and get Calwu to tap. He said, I'm going to break your back down, and I'm going to get you to tap.
I don't think he said just his back. He almost broke his face off of those turnbuckles with that slam as well. And now he rolls him over, goes for the pin. They're close to the ropes. Will it be a rope break? 2. No, it's a kick out at 2.
That was a close L right there. Calwu barely was able to kick out.
I'm surprised Calwu is still able to function in this match after having his head just smashed against the turnbuckles like that. But Calwu showing the resilience that he can bring. Oh, with the side slam, and now he gets Bear Grillz into a lock. Will this be it? Bear Grillz trying to get out. The ref continues to check on him.
Calwu breaks the hold himself and then goes for a pin. We've seen Calwu win like this before. After he put it lock in a submission hold and they don't tap, he goes for the pin afterwards, but he wasn't able to get it as Bear Grillz was able to kick out.
That was a very close 2 count, and Calwu is sizing him up. And he's got him locked in.
Working that neck back.
He's been doing mad work on the head. But Bear Grillz looked like he about to break out. Oh no, Calwu chooses to let him go.
I think Bear Grillz was able to barely get out of that, and then he gets a turnaround with the vicious clothesline right after that. Oh, what do we got here? A suplex off of that.
He's going for a big one here.
I think he realized Calwu was a little bit too far away. Oh, with a good suplex again off of it.
That was a great suplex.
And another sit-down slam. And Calwu looks planted. Bear Grillz is trying to get him away from the ropes because he knows that he could get that break. But is that enough time for Calwu to come together and get out of this? No, it's not. Bear Grillz with the victory.
That's a big win for Bear Grillz. He didn't win by submission. Calwu wasn't able to put him away by submission, even though he came close twice.
Ooh, Kyle, what's your thoughts?
Listen, yet again, Bear Arms have shown that you could win matches without any crazy shenanigans. Yet again, I'm pretty sure KT or someone might have rigged that turnbuckle, busting Bear Grillz open instantly. But yet again, the better team came out victoriously and cleanly. Another clean victory.
Now, Calwu, I do have to ask you with this. Obviously, we need to give credit where credit is due, and Bear Grillz put on a hell of a performance.
Sure.
But let's look at Thomas Dynasty. Bear Grillz, in his own right, has now beat KT by making him tap and putting Calwu away. They're about to face off at our upcoming pay-per-view. How nervous does Thomas Dynasty need to be knowing that, in a sense, Bear Arms could be their kryptonite?
Oh, for sure. I don't feel like they need to be nervous, seeing as they are the champions right now. When the champion belt is on the line, that's a completely different ball game. That's like a regular season win versus a playoff win or a Super Bowl win. So the stakes are a lot different. They probably do need to retool and figure something out, especially to deal with Bear Grillz, because Bear Magnum, they seem to have Bear Magnum's number, but Bear Grillz is definitely giving them both fits at this current point in time.
Well, of course, we'll figure out what that is going to look like at our upcoming pay-per-view, but we need to now turn our attention to a rematch. Obviously without the belt this time, but that was a phenomenal performance in our TLC match. Hunter Frost versus the Samurai. Hunter Frost taking the OMG Championship away from the Samurai, but the Samurai is invoking his rematch clause for our upcoming pay-per-view, and we will see that title be on display for that. But the Samurai hoping to get a victory here. So Kyle, what do you think is going to transpire here, which could very well be our match of the night if these two put on the show that we know that they can do?
Oh yeah, and to be honest, it's expected to be a match of the night. I mean, like, that's just the way, that's just what these two have brought to the PSWF. But again, I absolutely love the stuff that Hunter Frost has brought to the table here. I just love his mindset, the way he wrestles, the way he enters and his entrance. Everything about Hunter Frost I really enjoyed. And again, I think, yeah, again, as you said, this is the favorite to easily be the match of the night. And as far as the Samurai, I get it. You know, focus on your chi and everything else, whatever else he does off in the background. It is what it is. But you know, you can't count out the strikes that the Samurai can put on you. But you know what, Hunter Frost, let's see this momentum continue.
Well, we will see if that momentum can continue here, of course, in our matchup. And the two are actually already getting it going here in the ring. These two do not like each other, and I cannot believe what is transpiring. We didn't even have the entrances go on, and the ref trying to break it up. Oh, we have already had sparks fly to start this match. And here we go, the strikes going from the Samurai with a big drop kick off of this.
The Samurai with those strikes, man.
And as you said, though, this shows, you know, there was no waiting for entrances here. It was just straight up, all right, we're going at it. Let's do this. And again, this shows you how well these two have wrestled each other, though. Just their matches and everything, that it's been that good that they feel it. They feel it. The crowd feels it. Everybody feels it. And Hunter Frost with a huge moonsault on the Samurai there.
These two do not like each other, and you can clearly tell that here as Hunter Frost goes for the pin, gets a 2 count.
Wow!
There you go, Hunter.
Fuckery.
There you go, Hunter. What are you talking about, Calwu?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, he was late.
My language.
He was late.
My language.
He was late.
That was not late. That was 2 grab rope breaks. That was 2 grab rope breaks. One, two, rope. 3. Rope break. No, that should have been a rope break. Kyle, you are biased. Whenever somebody wins that you want to win, there is no mas. There is no foul. You are the most biased commentator here. That is crazy. That is crazy.
We have
that match ended so fast.
We have sparks flying even here at the announcer's table.
A win is a win, especially for Hunter Frost. Going it like the momentum of Hunter Frost. I am ready for this. This is going to be fantastic.
How the glorious Gloria, I don't want to hear you talk about no way nobody wins. After what you just displayed just now, I don't want to hear you say nothing about a way that anybody else wins from here on out. Nothing.
I am in utter shock by how that whole match transpired. But I also want to say, I cannot wait to see what happens at the pay-per-view after that happened there.
For sure.
Oh,
Sparks are gonna fly. I'm curious if the Samurai is gonna have some words out there. If Hunter, I mean, like the way that match started until the end, that was fantastic. I mean, you could tell the hatred between these two right now is just at an all-time high right now, and it's fantastic for the show. It's fantastic for us. I don't know. I mean, obviously Wu is blind, but listen, that's what this matchup brings us. You know, that's what this rivalry brings to everything. It's so great, and it only happens here at the PSWF.
Kyle, you must be sipping on some of that green Miss KT be spewing because you're blind. That was clear. That was a clear rope grab at 2, and the ref did not see it. We watched that happen twice in one night. And then it happened in the main event in this one. And that is crazy.
And yet again, here, our fellow commentator has now just stated it about the green mist KT constantly has. It's happened since they won the titles, constantly cheating over and over and over again.
Listen, yes, I don't want to hear you talk about how people lose or win.
Maybe this
I don't want to hear it.
Might have been a little late, but this is a ref fault. Where straight on from the Thomas Dynasty has been an issue.
Listen,
but hey, fantastic match.
Look, the ref's not seeing the miss. That's the ref's fault too, just like this one. So, like I said, I don't want to hear you complain about no way nobody wins. Especially not after what you said about this match.
We will see, of course, what transpires from all of this. And of course, the ref was on probation. So we'll see what happens with the ref being on probation and what transpires from there. But I will say, to give credit where credit is due in this aspect, the ref, or the samurai, grabbed the rope as the ref's hand was coming down. Maybe it was a simple thing of the ref not able to stop his hand coming down, because it is, by rule, when the hand hits the mat, it is counted as the final call. But let's just talk real quick. I wanted to ask this before during the entrances, but of course these guys didn't even let us do this. Calwu, you've talked with the samurai recently since his title loss. Obviously, you haven't talked with him since this, but how was he feeling about the chance of trying to reclaim his title at the upcoming pay-per-view and invoking, of course, his rematch clause to do so?
He felt really good about it, for the simple fact that that match, the tables, ladders, chairs match, is a gimmicky match. And it seemed that the samurai got lost in the gimmick, where we didn't see not one of his signature moves. We didn't see the knees in the corner. We didn't see seppuku. We didn't see none of his signatures in that match at all. And that was, he got lost in the gimmick and ended up losing, paying for it ultimately and losing. So he's ready for a regular, normal match for that title, where he says that he will not lose.
Well, we'll of course see what happens there, but that's all I wanted to talk about. Let's now finish out the show, because of course that is our show here at PSWF Adrenaline. So Calwu, let's start with you. What was your match of the night?
That ladies match, Molly Gloria getting that win, that was big for her. And depending on what happens after the pay-per-view, I would love to see her as a #1 contender and get her shot at the women's title.
We'll see, of course, what that happens there. Kyle, how about you? What was your match of the night?
I was honestly kind of leaning towards the women's match as well, but you know what? I'm going to go with the first match with the Smack Talkers yet again coming out victorious. Darsay with another big singles victory here. I mean, again, as you stated before, granted, they've been, when it comes to the tag team, they haven't really figured things out yet, but as a faction between the two, supporting each other in the singles side of things has been fantastic for these two, and they continue to win. And it's a lot of fun. And again, Darsay, go big or go home as always, and has yet come out victorious yet again.
I will, of course, see if these continued victories in singles competition leads one of them towards a belt, the OMG belt, obviously at a much higher scale, the PSWF belt. But I'm going to actually go, both of you guys named off great matches, but the one that I'm going to go with actually is B.A.T versus Matt, because while those were two people who had not had a victory, it was a showcase of strength. It showed off what both of them can bring to the table, and obviously Matt coming out with his first victory here, and again, somebody who has been at the top of the game in so many other sports. Could that be the first step towards him climbing to the top of the game here at PSWF? But we want to know what's your favorite match of the night, so make sure you leave that comment down below so that we know, of course, what you're enjoying most here about PSWF. But everybody, that is what we have for the show. So first, I'll start with you, Kyle. What do you want to leave our listeners with as we send them off into the weekend?
Again, keep on supporting us. It's been fantastic. Leave your comments, likes, subscribe, and everything else. But hey, listen, this has been fun. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight, Wu. I know you have a lot to learn. You have a lot to figure out, and you may need to get some glasses here. But hey, listen, it's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Calwu, how about yourself?
Yeah, like how the Gloria said, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Definitely come back and watch us week in and week out. And as far as glasses go, you gotta pour that haterade that's in your cup out into a drain somewhere, Kyle. And once again, thanks for having me, Dar, man. I love doing this with you guys.
All right, and we, of course, love having you here with us, and we love you, the viewers, of course, being here with us. So as they both said, make sure, if you want to continue seeing this, you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and keep the adrenaline going.